They said this rebuild would take years. They said we weren't even supposed to sniff the postseason, yet we just took a Super Bowl favorite to the absolute brink in overtime. The scoreboard says the season is over, but the fire in this team says the dynasty is just beginning, and if you aren't feeling a mix of devastation and overwhelming pride right now, are you even watching the same game? That was an instant classic, a heart-stopping thriller that ended in the most gut-wrenching way possible, and we need to talk about every single second of it. Before we dive into the chaos, the stats, and that controversial ending, do me a huge favor, smash that like button, share this with a fellow fan who needs to vent, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a second of our off-season coverage. Listen, I know how much this stings. Ending the year in the divisional round, in overtime, with a turnover? It's the kind of pain that sits in your chest. I was screaming at my television. I was seeing absolute red when that final ball was picked off. But we have to take a step back and look at the reality of the situation. The Chicago Bears were not expected to be here. Nobody in the national media thought this squad, this young, patchwork group, would be standing toe-to-toe with the Los Angeles Rams, a team many people have punched a ticket to the Super Bowl for. We just went punch for punch with a heavyweight. We saw a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach in Ben Johnson take a veteran, championship-caliber roster to the absolute limit. Ben Johnson is now 1-1 in his playoff career, and while this loss hurts, think about where we started. We almost punched a ticket to the NFC Championship game in the first year of this new era. That is nothing short of incredible. But let's be real, we are fans, and we need to dissect what went wrong because this game was an absolute roller coaster. It was a thriller. If you were watching with us, you know the emotions were swinging wildly. 1 minute we're on top of the world, the next we're burying our heads in our hands. The box score is actually the most frustrating part of this entire night. If you just looked at the stats without seeing the score, you would bet your house that Chicago won this game. The Bears had more total yards than the Rams. We had more first downs. We were actually better on third down efficiency. The offensive line, which has been a question mark at times, didn't allow a single sack. We only punted 3 times. We owned the time of possession. We controlled the clock. But here is the rhetorical question I need you to think about right now. How does a team dominate the stat sheet, control the clock, protect the quarterback perfectly, and still walk away with a loss? The answer lies in the details. It lies in the discipline. 3 penalties for 24 yards might not sound like a lot, but they came at crucial, momentum-killing moments. Our fourth down efficiency was non-existent compared to our third down success. And ultimately, when the game was on the line, when the pressure was at its absolute peak in overtime, Los Angeles made the play, and we didn't. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The final play. The interception. I know a lot of people are going to look at the box score, see Caleb Williams' stat line, and immediately start pointing fingers. Caleb threw for 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, but yes, he had 3 interceptions. A passer rating of 59.3 is not pretty. It's one of the rare times in his young career where the interceptions outnumbered the touchdowns. It was chaotic. It was messy. But was that final interception entirely on him? I don't think so. And this is where I'm actually really frustrated. We need to have a serious conversation about DJ Moore. He has been our guy all year. He was the leading receiver tonight, 5 catches, 52 yards, a touchdown. He's been the heartbeat of this receiving corps. But on that final play in overtime, I need someone to explain to me why he let his foot off the gas. I watched the replay 10 times. Caleb throws that ball to a spot, trusting his receiver to run through the route. You can literally see DJ Moore slow down. He stops tracking the ball with that same intensity, and because of that hesitation, bam. Intercepted. Season over. If DJ keeps running full speed, does he catch it? Maybe. Does he at least play defender and knock it down so we live to play another down? Absolutely. You cannot give up on a play in overtime of a playoff game. I don't care if you are tired. I know he was banged up coming into this week, and I know he took some hits early in the game, But that throw was on the money if the receiver is running at 100%. It is baffling. I am sure Ben Johnson is going to tear that film apart in the meeting room, but as a fan, that is a brutal way to watch a season end. And that brings me to the specific question of the day, and I want you to sound off in the comments because this is going to divide the fanbase. Who do you blame more for that season-ending turnover? Caleb Williams for making a risky throw in traffic, or DJ Moore for slowing down on the route? Let me know below. It wasn't just DJ though. We saw some rookie struggles tonight that we haven't seen all year. Colston Loveland has been a revelation. PFF voted him the top rookie at his position. He has been reliable, a safety blanket. Tonight? He looked like a rookie. 4 catches, 56 yards is a decent stat line, but where were his hands? He was dropping passes left and right. There were moments where the drive stalled because Loveland just couldn't squeeze the rock. On the flip side, Cole Kmet played his heart out. That touchdown reception to force overtime? That was historic. That was one of the greatest moments in recent franchise history. The way he faked out the defender and hauled that in, electric. But we can't have our rookie tight end disappearing in the big moments. I don't know if it was nerves or the pressure, but Loveland has to hit the jugs machine this offseason. The same goes for Rome Odunze. The drops from the wide receivers have been a plague all season long, and it reared its ugly head again tonight. If this team wants to take the next step, catching the football has to be non-negotiable next year. Let's shift gears to the run game, because this is another mystery. DeAndre Swift has been a monster against the Rams historically. In his first 3 appearances against them, he averaged almost 140 yards a game. Tonight? He started hot. He was running angry, hitting the hole, getting those clutch first downs. But then, he just vanished. 76 rushing yards is fine, but 4 yards per carry without breaking that 100-yard mark? It felt like he got cold. Did he get hurt? Did the coaching staff go away from him? I was shocked at how much he slowed down in the second half. And it wasn't just him. Kyle Manangai, who has been that spark plug for us lately, was a non-factor. 13 attempts for 36 yards? That is 2.8 yards per carry. We needed him to be that bruiser to close out the game, and the production just wasn't there. When your 2 main running backs slow down in the fourth quarter and overtime, you are asking your rookie quarterback to play hero ball, and that is a dangerous recipe against a team like the Rams. However, I cannot end this video without giving a massive shout out to Dennis Allen. I have been critical of him. I have given him a hard time over the last few weeks. But tonight? Dennis Allen coached a masterclass. He had to game plan against Sean McVay and the #1 offense in football, and he held them under 400 total yards. He kept us in this game. Look at Matthew Stafford's numbers. Dennis Allen made a Hall of Fame quarterback look pedestrian. Stafford was 20 for 42, that is under 50% completion. 0 touchdowns. 0 interceptions. A passer rating of 67.4. If you told me before the game that we would hold Stafford to those numbers, I would have guaranteed a blowout win. The issue wasn't the pass defense, it was the run defense. The Rams gashed us on the ground when it mattered, and that is the #1 priority for the front office this offseason. We spent big money on Grady Jarrett, we brought in talent, but we are still soft up the middle. Montez Sweat did his job. He had a sack and a forced fumble. Austin Booker looked good. But the interior defensive line got pushed around, and that is why we are going home. Individually, though, the defense fought like warriors. Jaquan Brisker? Pay that man. 14 total tackles, a sack, 2 pass deflections. He was everywhere. He is in the last year of his contract, and after a performance like that, he earned himself an extension. Tremaine Edmonds was flying around, too. I loved seeing him used in the rushing attack. He was disruptive. And Kyler Gordon, we need to wrap that man in bubble wrap. When Kyler Gordon is healthy, this defense is elite. 7 tackles and a sack tonight. He changes the geometry of the field. Also, shout out to Dominique Robinson. Another guy playing for a contract, and he showed up with a sack and a forced fumble. This defense has the pieces. They kept us in the game when the offense was turning the ball over. So, where do we go from here? I know it hurts. I know we wanted that NFC Championship game. But look at the big picture. We have a young core that just got invaluable playoff experience. We have a quarterback who isn't afraid of the moment, even if he made mistakes. We have a head coach who took a 9-8 team and turned them into a divisional round contender. The Rams are looking at us right now and thinking, thank God we don't have to play them again this year. Because they know how scary this team is going to be next season. We have issues to address: the interior defensive line, the receiver drops, the discipline, but the window is wide open. This was a punch-for-punch heavyweight fight, and even though we got knocked down in the final round, we are getting back up stronger. I want to say thank you to every single one of you who rode with us this season. From the draft to training camp to this overtime thriller, you guys have been the best community in the world. We are going to be covering every single move this offseason, free agency, the draft, all of it. So please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Bear down, be proud of this team, and I will catch you in the next one.